Hello, everyone. One of the more optimistic items when it comes to the war in Ukraine currently circulating the web is the first time use of the French military jets to provide air defenses during a Russian attack. So these are Mirage jets, and it took a while, understandably, because this is a big, complicated piece of equipment, to train Ukrainian pilots and Ukrainian maintenance crew, very important, to work with them. So finally, we got some jets, we got some trained personnel, and they got to test them out in action, very appropriately, since there was yet another massive Russian attack on Ukraine's energy infrastructure, during which at least 18 people were wounded, including children. Now, this is interesting, although, again, considering that this idiot changes his mind about things basically on an hourly basis, I wouldn't take this, again, too much to heart, but Trump says he's considering fresh sanctions to Russia, literally just a few days after he said he was considering lifting all sanctions currently imposed on Russia and reestablishing trade relations between Russia and the United States. So who knows what he's going to say next. Now, this is interesting. He does acknowledge that Ukraine is getting pounded, but he's addressing it in sort of a very abstract kind of way, as in, something's happening in Ukraine, but it's like it's just happening all on its own magically. This is interesting. This is another piece I would like specifically for Americans to pursue. This goes back to the ongoing question of what's in it for me. Well, what a lot of people didn't realize was that U.S. aid for Ukraine actually revitalized U.S. military production, specifically this facility in Scranton, Pennsylvania, where various artillery munitions are manufactured. Since U.S. is not currently at war with anyone, there was understandably a concern among the military manufacturers what's going to happen to them. And producing ammo for Ukraine gave them jobs. People don't talk about this because this is not covered by major news, but feel free to look up U.S. military manufacturers war in Ukraine connection and just leave it at that. Use your very neutral search criteria for that so that your search results are not biased in anybody's favor, and look it up if you don't believe me. By the way, to people who accuse Ukraine of wanting American lives, actually no. Ukraine didn't really ask for boots on the ground. When other people suggested it, they said, okay, that would be nice. But Ukraine never demanded to put troops on the ground in Ukraine. Mostly, Ukraine asked for supplies, for munitions, for rations, things like that. Basically, their message has been very consistently, just give us something to work with so that we could win this war. Somebody, I don't know even where you fucking read that, because that is just so stupid to believe. Somebody said that Ukrainians want to put U.S. people with Down syndrome on the front line. No, sweetie, only Russia does that sort of thing. You're confused. There is another round of U.S. Ukraine talks scheduled next week in Saudi Arabia. Russia will likely condemn it because the plan is to conduct these talks without Russian participation. How does that feel, guys? But again, I have to wonder how you're going to handle it when everybody concerned is not present. First of all, I agree with analysts who say there should be some European representation for two reasons. One, this war is very up close and personal to Europe, literally, geographically, it's right there. So they should be present. And second reason is to avoid allowing U.S. delegation to bully Zelensky. Because we've seen what happens when that happens. So yeah, we're all hoping something sensible will happen, but I seriously doubt it. You know, jury's verdict is mixed on this one, to say the least. And then there is another really good summary in the Guardian report for today. Again, there are concerns about U.S. position on NATO. Basically, Trump is saying that if they don't pay, we shouldn't be defending them. Forgetting how many countries pitched in after 9/11 when Article 5 was invoked and U.S. needed help. Also, you know, he talks a big game for a country that won the Revolutionary War thanks to French aid. If you don't believe me, look up your own damn history. Like hell you would have had a country now had it not been for the French. So. And of course, immediately after some strong statements by the French government talking about using French nuclear arsenal to defend Europe, Russia is whining that it's a threat. Now, this is the country that had issued threats on record in public against anyone you can think of. US, UK, EU, Ukraine, literally everybody. But now, when another country is considering that as a measure of defense against Russia, they're whining that it's a threat. And it's encouraging to see that British intelligence collaboration with Ukraine is set to continue. That is very good news indeed. France, Ukraine, and Britain actually make a really good intelligence partnership. They've done some amazing things. And again, because we're talking about military intelligence at the time of war, it's hard to describe that because a lot of the information involved is classified. So there's no way for us to know. But trust me, it's there, it's happening. So I'm glad that that is on schedule to continue. And UK so far planning to continue supplying the US with the data analytics it gathers from Ukraine with the help of France. And again, this is very much for people who insist on saying, hey, what's in it for me? This is your national security. And again, this is the stuff you can't fully appreciate because you don't see it. But make no mistake, alienating partners like France, like Britain, like Ukraine is not a smart thing to do. More to come.